Hey, I'm back. Lots of people in Japan now are really hyped about the Tokyo Olympics, but frankly, I'm worried. So let's talk about it. So in 2020, the Olympics are going to be held in Tokyo. And lots of people are, really excited about this because this is the first Olympics in Tokyo for a long time. I think the last one was 1960 or something. Don't quote me on that because I didn't look it up. But it has been, a number of years. Although they probably could have given it to someone else. But it's back, and, Tokyo's a big city, and, Japanese people need something to root for. And, of course, people are excited about this, but in my eyes, there's a few problems that are kind of creeping in. So let's go over them. The first one is money. So the problem with this is it costs a lots of money, and the people who are planning this, they're not really that concerned about it. Or they say they're concerned, we're doing everything we can. But they're really not. They're redoing all of these stadiums, they're building all these new stadiums and this new infrastructure. And to be honest, I don't think they need it. The infrastructure in Tokyo isn't really old. It's not crumbling. It's not, falling apart. It doesn't even look that bad. It doesn't look brand new, but it doesn't look bad. It's not like, oh, you can't use that. But they said, oh, like we're gonna, build all new stuff. So they've been knocking things over to build these new stadiums, and they're not finished yet, and they don't look like they're going to be finished. And in fact, an area of Tokyo called Tsukiji, which you may have heard of, it's kind of popular. It's a fish market. They moved that, and they're like, oh, okay, everybody has to get out of here. We're going to use this for some, I don't know, like a stadium, or I don't know what they're doing with it. But now there's some other problem, so now they moved everything out of there, and they can't get, I don't know if it's the permits or they can't buy the property. I don't know what they did, but it's a huge mess right now, and I'm thinking, oh, jeez. On top of that, I know there's going to be wasted money. So as I've said before, in Japan, there's very few things that are stolen. For the most part, your money is safe. I said, like, one of the only things are, like, bicycles and umbrellas, but I should add a caveat to that. Really, anything that you can steal wearing a business suit is in trouble. And in this case, you can steal something wearing a business suit. So all these contracts between the government and these companies, I know there's going to be tons of wasted money and all this kind of stuff. The only good thing I can say about this is I've heard in other countries, they do this and the company will steal the money and then they'll have some shoddy work. I think the work's going to be okay. I don't think there's going to be anything dangerous or it's not going to look good, but I know it's just going to cost lots of money. So I feel bad for those people who live in Tokyo that have to pay their taxes for this kind of ridiculous stuff. Number 2. The second thing is just like the general planning and ideas. I'm a little bit worried. I know there's somebody on the Olympic Committee, and before he was trying to get AKB-48 in the Olympic opening ceremony, but too many people in Japan complained. They're like, no AKB-48 for the opening ceremony, which I think is a good idea. But now one of the former prime ministers, who is also part of this Olympic committee, is saying certain things, like he says, we shouldn't have any sumo or kabuki because it's going to confuse people and people don't know what that is. And I'm thinking, what? I think almost everyone in the world knows what sumo is. And I think most people know what kabuki is. They may not have seen it, or they may not, immediately know what it is, but I think they've probably heard of it. I think it's fairly popular around the world. I don't think it's some strange thing. And he said, I'm going to replace it with things like Hello Kitty. And I was like, it's fair enough. Lots of people know Hello Kitty. Draimon. I was like, I don't think anyone outside of Japan knows what Draimon is. It's not popular outside Japan. I hadn't heard of it before I came to Japan. And another one was Astro Boy. It's like, how long ago was it that manga came out? I think that was the first manga or the first anime. And I was like, I had never heard of that before. Actually, I was going to say I'd never heard that before I came to Japan, but that's actually not true. The first time I heard about that was in the show Arrested Development. I've never seen that anime, and I think lots of other people haven't either, so I don't know what this person's talking about. And to be honest, he needs to be off the Olympic Committee because he's not in touch with what people around the world know and like about Japan. I have no problems with anime and manga. I hope it actually is in there and things like video games, but add some traditional things in there too. Like add some some kabuki, add some sumo wrestling. It's not going to be that bad. You don't have to, have a 10-hour long sumo match, but have some short bit of sumo wrestling in there or a little bit of kabuki. It won't hurt anything. So that's another thing I'm worried about, the planning and what they're going to do. I'm a little bit scared. And if you're living in Tokyo and you have to pay for this, you should be too, because it could be crazy. The third and final thing I'm worried about is I think they're shooting their sights too high. Not only is the planning, it seems kind of crazy on like what they're doing, their plans, I don't think they can even do them. They had like a few ideas. Like one, they said, we want to make like special cards for people, and like you can put your image in there. So like you come into Japan, you put your face in there, and then they'll have like things at the events where it'll scan your face and it'll give you information and tell you where to sit automatically, which sounds cool. It sounds like something out of like Minority Report or something. But I was like, that sounds really expensive and it doesn't sound that useful. But I thought perhaps they can do that. The other thing they want to do is they want to, instead of using fireworks, they want to like send like these like low atmosphere satellites into the air, I guess like drones, and then use projection mapping to project like light displays into the air, which sounds cool, but I don't think this technology is really like finished yet. Which, if any country can do it, it's Japan. But why test some new technology for the Olympics? It's going to cost a ton of money, and it may not even work. So it's like, don't do that. Just use normal fireworks. And the third thing is they said they want to do like a fleet of driverless cars. So they want to use like driverless car technology and have that take some people places instead of taxis, which sounds great. But I was like, technology's not ready yet, and it's 2017, almost 2018. You got 2 more years, and not only do you have to have the technology, you have to have a fleet of cars. And I was like, sounds terrible. I don't think they can do it, to be honest. On top of that, they say they need like a certain amount of Olympic volunteers, but they're not going to pay them. Like, we're not going to not only pay you money, which I was like, okay, fair enough, it's volunteers, but I was like, they're not going to pay people's travel costs, they're not going to pay people's hotel fees, etc. And they want these volunteers to be able to speak English, Chinese, Korean, French, etc. And I'm thinking, people that can speak those languages just don't want to work for free. Nobody's going to volunteer to stand outside in the heat and the humidity at this time of year for like 5 hours, 6 hours for no money. Or I think they're giving you a t-shirt and maybe a bottle of water. Wow. So I'm worried it's going to be a disaster. I hope they pull things together. I hope they, I hope there's a voice of reason on this Olympic committee that tells people these ideas don't make any sense. Just tone it down a bit. Don't spend so much money. Tokyo is a nice place. It's clean. It has good food. It's easy to, I shouldn't say it's easy to move around, but it's not particularly difficult to move around. You don't have to transfer every place. There's trains to take you every place. So just have the event. I think people will be happy and people will enjoy Japan. Don't try to go over the top and just use sanity, please. But that's my opinion. Tell me what you think down below. Do you think everything's going to go well, or do you think it's going to be a disaster, or kind of in between? I'm going to say kind of in between, but you tell me what you think. And give me a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't done that, and until next time, see you.